Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending today. So the Translator Working Group was started in 2021 when several new working groups were started. And the first thing that we did was we surveyed the OAC members about what needs they had for translators. And one of the things that we found was that human readable format was something that a lot of companies seem to have a need for. Oasis was also another popular one. We didn't tackle that one at first, but that could be something that maybe in the future. So for right now, we started out with a human readable format, and we looked at a few different possibilities. We decided JSON would be something that we could do reasonably well. And again, as was mentioned, OA script provided a really good platform for doing this rapidly. And so we wrote this in Python, which provided us our JSON capabilities as well as our open access capabilities. So it was a really good match for what we needed for this working group. It made it relatively easy to start generating JSON from OA. We could traverse through the model and create JSON and put it out and get started very quickly. So the capabilities of OA script and all were really very helpful with this working group. We created a pretty simple interface. Just run a couple simple Python commands, and you can generate a JSON file, and it actually runs fairly quickly on reasonable sized data. Talk a little bit more about that sizes in a minute. But so one of the big challenges we found was that the files that we generate are really big, 5 times bigger than granted, probably compressed OA binary format, but still very large. They grow very quickly, and it's not necessarily a problem, except that depending on what you want to do with the file. Obviously anyone can do, once we get into a JSON format, you can run it through whatever program that can read JSON and process it you want. But we also think that possibly it could be helpful in the future. This is not yet an implemented capability, but something that we've considered is adding some kind of filtering into the translator so that you can say, I only want ints, or I only want something this area, or something like that, depending on what your needs are, to reduce the size of these files. We tried to cover, we started out by covering the block domain and the tech. So we can handle netlist data, we can handle layouts. We're not looking at the module domain or the occurrence model at this point, but we have pretty good coverage on netlist and layout data in the block domain, and also the technology data. We as was mentioned, we could certainly use more people to help work on this. The working group is a small group, and not everyone's always busy with their regular day jobs, as we always say. So it can be a little tricky to get stuff done. But so if anyone is interested in participating and helping us out, we definitely would appreciate that. So I wanted to show a little bit of, just to get an example of what it looks like. These are just pieces of JSON files that I generated with the translator. You can see basically we print out attributes and their values. We do also, I realized that I didn't get properties into these examples, but we do support properties as well. You can see some of the basic, like at the top where the design basis would be. You can see ints, we information about them, and you'll have the whole list of all the ints, and then from there the ints terminals and everything. So continue on, and all the different pieces, the nets and terms and all that, similar to this. So and again, for layouts, we can put shape information. So a rectangle might look like this, and the layers and all that stuff it's all in there in the JSON to get. See, I'm very quick. Technology information we can print out here, including layers information and constraint groups and everything. Again, it's it's fairly straightforward. So constraint groups, and we can put the values in there. So again, it's we are also able to read this data back into to OA. So we have both the OA to JSON and JSON to OA. The capabilities are basic, but they work, and they were pretty easy to do in Python. So we're really happy with how that worked out. Again, like I said, we could certainly always use more help, but we have certain capabilities available that are working, and we think are useful, and we're working on adding more to it. So and so I guess I'm really quick. I talk fast, and I summarize very quickly. So do we have any questions?
Hi, Jeff. This is Jeff at Synopsys. I think the part that looks really interesting to me here is OA doesn't have a reflection API. So knowing what attributes are in each object is not something that you can't just ask OA what's on a shape. So assuming that since it looks like you've solved that problem, I guess you could also write to other formats as well. Have you looked at other things other than JSON, like CSV and YAML?
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that, and it basically just means plugging in a different backend into the writer, and that's definitely something we've discussed and plan to do in the future. It hasn't been implemented yet, but I see no particular reason why the backend couldn't be whatever backend you want it to be.
And is this an executable or like a Python module where you could dump arbitrary data?
It's a Python module. It's you can pretty much dump whatever as long as we've implemented that piece of it, right?
Okay, cool. I see a lot of people that take away designs, use Python to iterate over them, write out CSV or let's say JSON and YAML, read them into something else, and then do some processing in it in some other package for whatever reason. So presuming that you've got a Python module for doing that, where you can just iterate over OA objects and write something out, I think be a lot of interest for that.
Yeah, I think that's basically what we envision this to be useful for, and in a standardized way, available to everyone to use, so that you don't have to grow your own every time. So
cool.
I'd like to add special thanks to Keysight. When we were defining the class list to decide the order of implementation for classes, Keysight allowed us, under non-disclosure, to peek into the schema for their actual tool to determine what classes should be implemented first. And thanks to Keysight.
Yeah, so Jeff, if you are interested in more, you could come and join the working group, and we can,
Yeah, I'd be happy to join. I think that's a good idea.
Cool.
I'll get Marshall to send me an invite. Thanks, Marshall.
Sure.
And Jeff, this is Leanne from SI2. So I know the Speed API group has Akhilesh Kumar from ANSYS had talked to the translator work group a few months ago. If we wanted to do something like, put output, for example, into a format for TensorFlow, would you see that would be something that's our responsibility working with you, or would it be good to have somebody from our group join your group and sort of have some combined wisdom to see how to implement something like that? What's the best way for us to move forward?
Yeah, I think if somebody wants to come to our meetings and discuss it, that we could certainly figure out a good way to go forward with that. I think that's very useful, interesting.
Okay, great. Thank you.